Transmission begins.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
This is the Josh Tolly Show on the GCN Radio Network.
But it is a reason to stay out of Oklahoma. Yeah, stay out of Oklahoma. And if you're in Oklahoma, get out. No, I'm serious. Check this out. Oklahoma Highway Patrol. You have all heard of civil forfeiture. We've talked about civil forfeiture on this program many times. And that's where police can seize your property and your cash without even proving you committed a crime, without a warrant, without even arresting you. They don't need nothing. They need absolutely nothing other than the suspicion that the property may be used in a crime. So past examples of this is trucking outfits telling their truck drivers, if at all possible, stay out of Kentucky, because in Kentucky the highway patrol there pulls over truckers. Truckers normally have a lot of cash on them to buy tires and gas and all that sort of stuff, and the police just take it, because after all, you could buy drugs with that money. So they just take it, and you never get it back, ever. And it's technically legal for them to do this. And it's a multi-billion-dollar-a-year industry. There was another example of a gentleman who was leaving Las Vegas, had a good day at the casino or whatever he was playing, heading back home to California. Nevada Highway Patrol pulls him over. He's got $50,000 on him. The cop takes the $50,000 and keeps it, because after all, you could use that to commit a crime, so we need to take it from you. The gentleman thought, ha ha ha, what the cop didn't know is I recorded this whole incident, and I'm going to get my money back. And the cop's response was, well, it's going to cost you more than $50,000 to get it back, so good luck. And this is a real thing. You can look it up, and as odd and as weird as it sounds, civil forfeiture is a real thing, and you will lose your property, money, whatever they decide to take from you. So why stay out of Oklahoma? Well, Oklahoma is taking it to a whole nother level of stupid evil. Yeah. This is what it says from news9.com. Now, the Oklahoma Highway Patrol has a device that allows them to seize money from your bank account or your prepaid cards. It is called ERAD, the Electronic Recovery and Access to Data Machine, and the state began using the 16 of them that they just purchased already last month. Here's how it works. If a trooper suspects that you have money tied to any sort of crime, the Highway Patrol then can scan your cards and seize the money. Think about that. Let's say you're driving along, singing a song, and you get pulled over for speeding. You get pulled over for having a brake light out that you didn't even know was out. So do not think, well, I'm not a criminal, Josh. I don't have to worry about this stuff. No, yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. So you're driving along, you have a tail light out, maybe a rock hit it, who knows. Highway Patrol pulls you over. He sees that you have a Josh Tully bumper sticker and a 3% bumper sticker, and I Love Run Paul hanging from your rearview mirror, whatever. That just tips him over the edge. He's a little upset. Ma'am, can you step out of the car, please? Yes, officer. What's going on? Well, ma'am, this vehicle matches a suspicious vehicle report we had. It has 4 doors, and there was a 4-door vehicle that was involved in a drug deal. So, ma'am, step out of the car. Because a lot of us ignorantly love to stand behind they have to have reasonable suspicion, Josh. Yeah, do you know how lax reasonable suspicion has gotten? Reasonable suspicion, well, it was a blue 4-door car. Well, ma'am, you're driving a blue 4-door car. So that's reasonable suspicion. We need to search the vehicle. Ma'am, we found $700 in here, tucked underneath your seat. Well, I keep it there in case of emergencies. I try to hide it, but it's there just in case of emergencies. Well, ma'am, we're going to have to seize this, because that's exactly what drug dealers do too. That's exactly what drug dealers do too. Ma'am, can I see your purse? I need to look at your credit cards for a second. Officer, why? Well, because that money too could be used in criminal activities. Takes out his little device, swipe, just like you're at Denny's or something. Money is gone, baby. Good luck getting that back. They search the car. They don't find any drugs. Ma'am, you're on your way. Have a great day. Well, what about my money, officer? No, ma'am, I'm sorry. Folks, that's the world you now live in. That's the world you now live in. That's not a scary futuristic novel. It's not an evil movie that was made. Nah, that's happening right now. According to the Highway Patrol, we're going to look for different factors in the way you're acting. See, told you. No proof, just how you're acting. This is from Oklahoma Lieutenant John Vincent. We're going to look at different factors in the way that you are acting. We're going to look for if there's differences in your stories. If there's some way that we can prove that you're falsifying information to us about your business. Holy Hannah. He insists that it's really not about seizing the cash, it's about protecting the people. Of course it is. Shut up. I know a lot of people are just going to focus on the fact that we're seizing money, but that's really the small thing that's happening now. The large part is that we found the biggest benefit is the identity theft. If we can prove, you can prove that you have a legitimate reason to have the money, we'll give it back to you. But we've done that in the past. Holy cow. Do you understand what he just said? They're going to take your money, and then if you can prove that you have a right to have it, they'll give it back to you. If you live in Oklahoma, get out. We'll be back right after this. So, going back to this Oklahoma thing, because I'm not done with this yet. State Senator Kyle Loveless from Oklahoma City said that the system removes due process and the belief that a suspect is presumed innocent until proven guilty. Well, no kidding. No kidding. They're going to take your stuff, including your money, and then you have to somehow prove that you were not going to do something illicit with it, and they'll then give it back to you. And many times it costs you more to fight it to get it back. So, I mean, really, let's say they take $300 in cash that you have on you because that's now considered suspicious. Druggies carry $300 in cash. So they take that money from you, and then it's going to cost you $500 to get the $300 back. Well, that makes sense. Anyway, Kyle Loveless says, we've seen single moms have their stuff taken. Cancer survivor had his drugs taken. A Christian band had their equipment taken. We've seen a lot of innocent people's stuff being taken. We've seen where the money goes and how it gets misspent. Oh, yes. The question then is, well, what do they do with this money? It's crazy. In some municipalities, they have had sheriffs build fishing retreats for their deputies. Yeah. Oh, you thought it went to, like, somehow help protect you? No, silly Willy. No, they'll spend a certain percentage on things like armored personnel carriers and, surplus military equipment, which, again, doesn't really protect you, but they'll spend some of it on that. But then in other cases, they'll use it for bonuses and all that sort of stuff. Now, this is where it really gets nuts. The state of Oklahoma paid the ERAD group $5,000 for the software and the scanners, and you might say, well, that ain't actually too bad. I mean, $5,000 for 16 scanners and the software to run them, that ain't too bad. Oh, but wait. There's more. They, being the ERAD Group Incorporated, they get 7.7% of all seizures. Yeah. So, if the state of Oklahoma uses their little theft device to steal $1 million, ERAD Corporation gets $77,000. Right? Doesn't that just make you happy? Doesn't that make you not suspect police officers as being thieves? And remember, $1 million is on the very, very, very low end. Very low end. Civil forfeiture is a multi-billion-dollar industry. And yes, it is an industry. It's a multi-billion-dollar industry. And we just want to pretend it doesn't apply to us, that it doesn't pertain to innocent people, Josh. They're just going to be criminals. No, they're not. No, they're not. They're going after the money, honey. They don't care if you're innocent or guilty. They have no care. Do you think ERAD Corp getting their 7.7%, do you really think that that's what they're after is your truth in your case? Oh, how big is it? Oh, it's at least $12 billion a year. At least. Well, now we're talking about companies making $70, $80 million of your money because they took it. Don't just hear this story and say, wow, that's really crazy. Wow, okay, well, I got to go to work, but man, thanks, Josh, thanks for telling me. No, hear this story and say, wait a second, what is going on? What politicians on the local level are we going to be voting for this November that are for or against civil forfeiture? And the federal government actually put a pause to their civil forfeiture because they realized how crazy it was, how many billions of dollars the federal government was making. Oh yeah, they'll take your money too. There's a report on the Institute for Justice that I cited in the book that I'm working on. And there's a report there, Policing for Profit. And it talks about the massive abuse of civil forfeiture. So, for example, if you're thinking, well, Josh, what states have civil forfeiture? The answer? All of them. And do you really think Oklahoma is the only state that's going to be using this electronic device? This means that you're going to need to hide your debit cards and your credit cards and your prepaid Walmart cards, and you're going to have to hide all your cards. But then, of course, that is a crime too. Oh, see, now you're caught. They're making you become a criminal. When are we going to say to ourselves, hey, wait a second. If I'm traveling through a state and the state highway patrol or even local police, doesn't matter, they just use the highway patrol in this example, the local police pull you over and take your money, when are we going to say enough's enough? And when is law enforcement going to say, well, Josh, I listen to you every day and I'm one of them good apples? Okay, did you say you're never going to participate in civil forfeiture? Well, no, I have to do my job. Then I'm sorry, Charlie, you're not a good apple. Did you file a grievance with your union that you and your fellow officers are being forced to commit a crime? Well, no, because they're telling us it's not a crime. There's an ordinance that allows us to do this. Then I'm sorry, Charlie, you're a bad apple. I'm sorry, that's just the way it is. We can't hide behind, well, the city passed an ordinance or the state passed a bill that says we can take their money, so I'm just doing my job. No, doing your job is never an excuse. And I feel really bad about the people who think, well, maybe I am keeping crime off the streets. Let's go to Tom. Tom, welcome to the show. What's on your mind?
Yeah. I'm glad you brought this up, Josh. It is something to be worried about, to be fearful of, to be downright scared about. And, if you look back at all of the exactions and thievery that this government has taken part in to eat away at our substance against the law, against the Constitution, and against simple moral human proper way of being, you got to nip these things in the bud, because once they get ingrained in people's minds as normal, including law enforcement, which in a lot of these states, and Tennessee is a big offender, then people see it as such, and then you really have a hard time turning it back. Look at all the licenses and fees and other things that are not lawful that we accept as normal.
Yeah.
Marriage licenses. You know, it used to be between you, your pastor, your family, and the good book where it was recorded. Now the state is involved. Why? Because the business. They make money off of it, coming and going. Whether you're getting married or whether you're getting divorced, people have their hands in the bucket, and they're making money from your misery, and that's what it's all about. You're right. It's a business. And as far as ordinances are concerned, they're not law. In fact, statute law is questionable at best. You know, we have common law and we have constitutional law, and, you know, they charge people with crimes. They say it's a crime. They issue them a ticket, and you're forced to go to court under threat of violence. Yet, I don't know anywhere where you can find a criminal procedure referring to statutory law. Like I said, they're questionable at best.
Absolutely, and we're not even talking about criminal forfeiture. Criminal forfeiture is if, let's say, you murdered somebody in your house and you were found guilty. The jury finds you guilty. They take your house. Totally get that. I understand that. Sell it off and use the money for charity or something. But that's not even what we're talking about. These are people who they're never, ever going to get charged with a crime. They still get to take your stuff. Yeah. Stay where you're at, Tom. Stay where you're at. I want to get your take on one more thing. Hey, thanks for watching. If you loved what I had to say, then subscribe right here. If you hated what I had to say, subscribe right here. It's fun being mad on social media, isn't it? Either way, I'd love to hear from you. Send me an email right there.